Closed captioning for Heart Matters is brought to you today by Gander Car Care, located on 70 Row Avenue, serving Gander and area for nearly 30 years. Heart Matters is made possible through local support. Beaton's Realty, located at 105 Row Avenue, Gander. Nan's Pantry, located at the Gander Mall. And Dooley's Trucking, servicing all of your shipping needs.
Hello, my name is Mike Freake and welcome to Heart Matters. If you've ever taken a detour, you know that it can take you to places that you never intended to go. Well, our guests today know what it's like to end up in a certain place and wondered, how did I get here? Well, stay tuned as we talk to Pete and Donna Stacey as they talk about their journey of coming back to God. It's a story of grace and redemption. And from Corner Brook, we are pleased to have local singer-songwriter Angie Rogers singing for us today. Thanks for watching and enjoy today's program here on Heart Matters. Well, on our program today, we're glad to have local singer-songwriter Angie Rogers. Thanks for coming on our program.
Thank you for having me.
So music has been a really big part of your life, hasn't it?
It has been. I have been, I guess, singing since I was 2 years old when my mom and dad first brought me to church. And I've been leading worship all over the places ever since, so it's been quite the adventure for me.
Yeah, and now that you're a little bit older, you're taking your music a little more seriously.
Yes.
Tell us about what's happening with you.
Well, 2012, I released my first CD, and it's called Hope, Dream, Believe. And anyways, from there, I've been a pastor's wife, I guess you could say, for 14 and a half years now, and we've been pastoring in a church for about 13 and a half years. So I've been leading worship in various churches, and then I decided to put out this album, and from there, I've been leading worship all over the island, in different churches all over the island. I've led worship at YC Newfoundland a couple of times, and I guess I've been to Maritime Youth Convention over in Nova Scotia. So it's been an adventure, and I definitely can't wait to continue further with it for sure. And
now that you've put out your first album, I mean, you're starting, your music is starting to get a little more recognized and getting out there a little bit more. Tell us about that.
Well, I had 2 nominations for Music NL.
And congratulations.
Thank you very much. I didn't win, but I did get the nominations. So that was really, it was an honor. It was kind of neat to be able to be recognized like that in the gospel music section, as well as female vocalists. So that was really neat. And I've just, I guess right now I'm in a contest actually in New Brunswick. That is a national contest, and I guess from there, if you win this specific contest, you go down to the States and you actually compete against a whole bunch of people there, and from there you can travel. For 2015, we would travel with the biggest Christian bands all around the U.S. on a tour.
Well, that sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah, it'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah. And so the songs that you're singing for us today, these are a couple of songs that you wrote yourself.
Yes, I have. I wrote, actually there's 10 songs on my CD. 8 of them I wrote myself, so it's really good.
So what's the inspiration behind these 2?
Well, Today is a New Day. That was written last year in January, actually. I was going through a really rough time, and I remember my husband speaking a message in church, and it actually was called Today's a New Day, and it just struck me, and he says it every morning. He comes in and he says, Today's a new day, and it struck me really in a positive way that, God says that we can overcome anything, and that it doesn't matter what we're going through and what fears we have and what we've had. You can step forward and just make a new step out there, and because today is a brand new day, and so that's where that inspiration came from. Now's Your Time was written, I guess, kind of in a similar light. It wasn't me going through something, it was me seeing somebody else go through something, and sometimes people just need to realize that you can actually just take a step to just change it. And that's like today's new day, you know, just step out and just make a difference. Now's your time says, you know, right now is anyone's game. And right now it's just making that change. So, you know, hold on when you want to let go. And that's a big deal. And a lot of people need to hear that, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, we look forward to hearing your songs today, and the stage is all yours.
Thank you very much.
Take that step, make that move, lift your head, you've got one more chance to choose. Love out loud, sing it out, no regrets, you've got nothing left to lose. Time won't wait for you. And now it's a new beginning now. You can take that chance, and there's no better time than right now. Lay aside your guilt and pride. Don't back down, now is your time to shine. And faith believes where you can't see, and hope endures. So what are you waiting for? You were meant for more. And now it's a new beginning now. You can take that chance, and there's no better time than right now. And now you can boldly stand up proud, not afraid, no excuse, and there's no better time than right now. Right now it's anyone's game, right now it's making a change, right now it's holding on when you want to let go, right now it's facing the truth, right now all eyes are on you. Come on, proclaim it loud, you can start over right now. Oh, you start over now. Come on and give it a chance, yeah. And now it's a new beginning now. You can take that chance, and there's no better time than right now. And now you can boldly stand up proud, not afraid, no excuse, and there's no better time than right now. Now it's a new beginning now. You can take that chance. There's no better time than right now. So lift your head up proud.
Two words that best describe our interview today is grace and redemption. Joining us today is Pete and Donna Stacey to share how they experienced both of those things in their lives. Thanks for joining us today, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Now, guys, you both grew up in church and you both had a foundation of faith and church in your lives, but you eventually decided to step away from that and to live your lives really the way that you wanted to live it. When did that happen, and really what was the motivation behind it?
For me, it was probably an earlier age, 15, 16. The world looked so inviting, and I guess I just got that gypsy nature, so I went off and I explored for a lot of years.
Well, for me, I was raised in church, and I was an older teen at the time when the legalistic part of religion, church, the rules were all into play, and I got offended over certain things like dress code, you know, jewelry, all those things at that point in time. So with that offense, I walked away.
Now, you know, when you look at your lives, after you stepped away from church and you were living your lives, what did your lives look like?
We were partiers, crazy, lived right on the edge as a couple. No regard for the future or the impact of your choices that you made. No thought of the next minute, really. I mean, we were good people, and but we just lived on the crazy side.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you were to think of a word, I guess, that described your life at that time, what would you think it would be?
For me, I would probably say selfish. I didn't have any children. You know, it was more or less about me and, you know, what the next thing was. And when you really only get yourself in life and you don't have somebody else who's really totally dependent on you, it becomes more about your show than sharing stage with somebody else. So I'd say selfish for me.
And you?
Mine wouldn't be selfish. Mine would actually not really necessarily be a word to describe me. It would be to describe our way of life. It would be a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the ups and the downs, the ins, the outs, it would definitely be a roller coaster.
Yeah. So no consistency?
None, no. From day to day, it was just crazy.
Life was lived to the next phone call. What are you doing this weekend? Hey, yeah, that's fun. And we're gone. That's just the way it was.
Yeah. But then you had kids during this time.
Yeah.
How did having kids kind of change everything for you?
Well, it was a huge change for me and Peter. The responsibility of having someone who needed us entirely, not just for an hour throughout the day or on Monday to Thursday, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. They were in our care.
And as much as I look at that now and listen to Donna say they needed us, but when I look at it sometimes I look back, we needed them as much as they needed us. You know, it really straightened our lives out, having children, changed my perspective on life totally.
Yeah, so would you say that having children was like probably the number one thing that influenced the way that you were living your life?
It influenced the way I changed my life to live it, no doubt about it, 100%. When the first time I seen Catherine was our firstborn come into the world, and then Victoria 18 months after, it just, for me, it was responsibility and a total change. It just brought it into my life. It just made it so clear to me that I can't live like this not having kids.
And Donna, like, you know, when Pete says, you know, I just can't continue to live my life like this, you were feeling that too, weren't you?
Yeah, I struggled with the contradiction of what I was living outside and what I was feeling inside. It was a huge contradiction in my life as a parent, as a woman, as a person. I felt as though I was never fulfilling what I was supposed to be as a mom and as a person. It was like a persona of I got everything together and everything is perfect, but inside it wasn't.
Yeah, so how was God speaking to you through that?
Probably through responsibility, that I was blessed with 2 healthy girls, and we had a responsibility to them. And God was just really saying to me, you need to look at your life and how can you be a role model for your girls.
That's right, and it's during that time when God really started to deal with your heart, right, Donna?
Yeah. At night, you know, you would go about your day, but at night when you would lie down in the quietness is when it became real to me that it doesn't matter what you've done in the past, regrets. We all live with regrets, but it's about relationship. And I just really wanted to have a relationship with God so that I could show that relationship to my girls. At that point, Catherine and Victoria were probably about 2 and 3 years old when I made a decision to ask Jesus into my heart and just live for Him. Changed our way of living drastically.
And so in your relationship, I mean, you know, you gave your heart to the Lord, and it wasn't until about maybe 8 years later that you made that decision. What was that time like, living together when you were living for God and you weren't quite there yet? What was that time like in your marriage?
Well, believe it or not, in our case, it was a certain sense of a peace came over our home, because as soon as I made my choice, our life was better. We were living a better life. The roller coaster part of our marriage had settled somewhat, and Peter really respected and valued my choices. And because he respected and valued them, he went along with that lifestyle that comes with choosing Christ as number one.
Yeah. And you eventually made that decision yourself.
Yes, I did, yeah.
And explain how that happened.
Well, like I said, it was about 8 years for me, I guess, with Donna. And I supported her in her decision. And, you know, we went as a family, went to church all the time. And I believe it was one Sunday I was here in this church in Gander. And you had a sermon that really struck home to me. It spoke into me. And for about the next 4 or 5 days, I really struggled with it. And I sort of been living that life, and I had friends and stuff, and I said, well, you know, why not? And I just finally made that decision.
Yeah.
We're still real people, you know. We were fun back then, and we're fun now. It's just now we don't have any. There's no.
I don't wake up with a
hardships.
hangover no more.
In our marriage, it's just so much better with Christ at the center for the both of us.
You know, we still like to do all the stuff we do. We still ride our motorcycles and like the snowmobile and the boat.
We're still crazy.
We're still crazy. But I would say probably more family orientated would be the word that we would focus on.
Yeah. Now, as we finish up, I had the opportunity to attend a ceremony that was in honor, in part, to you for someone's life that you saved a few years back. Briefly tell us about that.
It was a day when I had just recently given my heart to the Lord, and my parents, I and my 2 young children were on the beach. And to sum it up, a young boy drifted out on the ocean in the cold North Atlantic, and myself and another young man went after him. And we were a long ways off from shore that day in trying to rescue this little boy. And when you're faced with your mortality, you soon realize exactly what's important and what's not, and how much we really need the grace of God in our lives. Regrets don't mean anything at that point then. It's all about His grace and what He's done in your life and in your heart.
Yeah, and so you took that step and you went out and you saved this young man's life.
Yeah.
And so when you look at that story and you look at your own lives, how is that story similar to the life that you guys have lived?
Well, I guess our internal compass got thrown off, and we just drifted around for a long time until eventually we saw a shore, and then we fastened ourselves onto that shore and made it home, and now we're standing on solid ground.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well said. And thank you both for coming out and taking the time to share your story with us today.
Thanks for having us, Mike.
Heart Matters is made possible through local support. Beaton's Realty, serving Gander and area. Visit beatonsrealty.ca today and see a full listing of properties in your area. And Nan's Pantry, located at the Gander Mall. Nan's Pantry has everything you're looking for. Need something shipped? Then contact Dooley's Trucking in Gander. Ship with the best. Ship Dooley's Trucking.
I'm sure many of you remember the program that used to be on TV called Cheers. It was a show about a bunch of good friends hanging out in a bar. I really liked the catchy tune. I could sing it for you, but maybe I shouldn't. It was a catchy tune also because of the lyrics. Do you remember? Just listen. Making your way in the world takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. I want to go where everyone knows my name. Man, don't you just like that? Wouldn't you like to get away? We all feel that way, I'm sure, at times. Life has lots of pressures and worries. The show Cheers was about the bar scene, providing that place to go where everybody knows your name, and our troubles are all the same. It gives a comforting feeling to have friends that accept you and understand you for who you are. Wow, you know what? That makes me think about church. I mean, at least the way church should be. A place of comfort where you are accepted and can share your problems and find strength. I'd say it's sad that a bar could give you this, but church hasn't always been that way. Church is often a place where people sometimes feel rejected, depending on how you dress or behave, or they judge you, or you could go and leave, no one would really speak to you. Wow, that would be sad. This generation would never want to be a part of that. Jesus Christ established His church to be a place where people know your name and love you with a sacrificial love, a place where we're all the same, sinners in need of His grace. Jesus designed His church to provide the answers to the greatest struggles of life. Wouldn't you like to get away? Get away from the emptiness of life and find fulfillment and great satisfaction. I believe if the church is to survive today, it needs to be a place of refuge for people, not a place of mere religion, a place where Jesus is found. I'm so glad the day came when I found that place where I didn't have to have it all together, and it was at the foot of the cross. I met Jesus Christ, and I believe that Jesus is the answer to all the longing of humanity. And I believe that Jesus Christ is the true God that's bigger than all the problems, the addictions and pain that life can bring to any of us. God so loved the world. It includes you and me. And He knows your name, and He cares for you. And I believe Jesus is the answer for the emptiness of life.
Teach me compassion, show me your mercies. Train my heart to be like yours, and my hands to feed the poor, Lord. Lead me to brighter days, so I won't be afraid. Help me find the reason not to hide. Spread my wings and help me fly, because the reasons that I hide behind blur my vision. I can't seem to clear my mind when the enemy comes in like a flood, telling me this time you've got to give up. Lord, you said that I could overcome anything. When I feel alone, you promised that you'd never leave. So I'll stand in faith, speak your word with grace. You said that I could overcome anything. And I feel alone, you promised you'd never leave me. So I'll stand in faith, speak your word with grace. Today's a new day. Today's a new day. Lord, teach me compassion, show me your mercies. Train my heart to be like yours, and my hands to feed the poor. Oh Lord, lead me to bright hard days, so I won't be afraid. Help me find the reason not to hide. Spread my wings and help me fly. Because the reasons that I hide behind blur my vision. I can't seem to clear my mind when the enemy comes in like a flood, telling me this time you've got to give up. Lord, you said that I could overcome anything. When I feel alone, you promised you'd never leave. So I'll stand in faith, speak your word with grace, because now I can overcome anything. When I feel alone, you promised you'd never leave. So I'll stand in faith, speak your word with grace. Today's a new day. When I feel afraid, I will not fear. Lord, when I feel alone, I know you're near. When my head tells me no, God, your word tells me yes. When the world says I can't, I still give him my best. Because now I can overcome anything. When I feel alone, you promised you'd never leave. So I stand in faith, speak your word with grace. Jesus, I can overcome anything. When I feel alone, you promised you'd never leave. So I stand in faith, speak your word with grace. 'Cause there's freedom in your name, Jesus. Jesus, today's a new day.
Let us know what you think of our program today. Please visit our website at heartmatters.tv or leave us a message by calling 256-3336.
Welcome back, and thanks for watching today's program. A big thank you to Pete and Donna Stacey. You know what? It's a reminder to all of us that however far we may drift from God, that we are not forgotten and that He always provides a way for us to come back to Him. And if you would like to purchase Angie's music, you can do so by visiting angierogersmusic.com or purchase them on iTunes. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week here on Heart Matters.